Hello and welcome back to Timeless Wisdom. Have you ever woken up with a feeling that something might be wrong? The early morning hours often seem calm, but according to cancer specialists, certain signs that appear right after waking up could indicate something more serious. These aren't just small annoyances. When they persist without any clear cause, they may be your body sending a warning. In today's video, we're diving into 5 specific signs that could point to an undiagnosed cancer. Our goal is not to scare you, but to empower you. Early detection of certain cancers can significantly improve your chances of recovery and give you peace of mind. Each sign we'll discuss is based on observations from medical professionals who've repeatedly encountered these patterns in their patients. While no single symptom alone confirms cancer, ignoring them could potentially delay a diagnosis that might save your life. Stick with us until the end, because the last sign is often dismissed as aging or stress. However, in the right context, it could be one of the most important early warning signs doctors look for. Let's get started. Sign 1. Persistent morning fatigue that doesn't improve with rest. Most people expect to feel tired every now and then, especially as we get older. It's easy to chalk it up to poor sleep, aging joints, or just a restless night. But there's a difference between feeling groggy and feeling completely drained every single morning, no matter how many hours you've slept. If you're waking up day after day with a kind of deep fatigue that doesn't lift even after rest, even after coffee, even after moving around, your body may be telling you something more serious is going on beneath the surface. This kind of fatigue isn't just physical. It can feel like your limbs are heavy, your mind feels dull, you don't feel refreshed at all. You might even say, "It feels like I never slept." And when that's your reality for weeks or months on end, despite your efforts to eat well, go to bed on time, or reduce stress, it may be time to ask your doctor for a deeper look. Several cancers, especially leukemia, lymphoma, or certain solid tumors, can cause persistent fatigue in their early stages. That's because these conditions affect your body at a cellular level. They may interfere with your blood's ability to carry oxygen, disrupt hormone levels, or even cause silent inflammation that drains your energy without you realizing it. Let me tell you about someone I knew, Paul, 74. He was active, walked every day, and rarely complained. But he started sleeping 10 hours a night and still woke up exhausted. His wife noticed he was napping more, skipping his usual hobbies, and seemed foggy in the morning. They thought it was just aging, but when he finally went in for blood work, his doctor found signs of early-stage lymphoma. Because they caught it early, he started treatment immediately, and within a few months, that heavy morning fatigue began to lift. Not all tiredness means cancer, of course, but if your mornings feel harder than they should, and that feeling doesn't go away with rest, better sleep, or basic changes, it deserves attention. You know your body better than anyone. If something feels off, don't wait for it to get worse. Don't wait until you're too tired to even bring it up. Speak to your doctor, ask for a checkup, and trust that your instincts, especially in the quiet moments when you first wake up, are worth listening to. Sign 2. Night sweats that soak clothes or bedding. Sweating during sleep is something we all experience from time to time. Maybe you had a heavy blanket. Maybe the room was too warm. But when you consistently wake up drenched, soaked through your pajamas or sheets, needing to change clothes or bedding, it's time to look closer. These aren't mild sweats. These are the kind that interrupt your rest, the kind that make you feel clammy and chilled once the sweat dries. And if it's happening again and again, without a clear reason like menopause, infection, or room temperature, it can be a major red flag. Doctors have long noted that drenching night sweats, especially in older adults, are one of the early signs of several types of cancer, particularly lymphomas. That's because these cancers often affect your immune system, which in turn disrupts how your body regulates temperature. You're not just overheating. You're responding to internal chemical changes you can't control. Night sweats linked to cancer aren't just an isolated episode. They build up over time, and because many people sleep alone or don't realize how often it's happening, they may not even mention it at their next appointment. It becomes the new normal until one day it's not. Let me share the story of Judith, 76. She thought her thermostat was the problem. She bought a fan, switched to cotton sheets, and even opened a window at night, but she still woke up drenched. Her primary care doctor ran a few tests and eventually referred her to a specialist. That's when they found an early-stage blood cancer. Judith had no other symptoms, no pain, no cough, no weight loss, just those relentless night sweats. The good news? Because she paid attention to something most people ignore, she got a diagnosis in time to act. So here's the takeaway. If you're waking up wet from sweat more than once a week, and especially if you can't explain why, it's not something to dismiss. Track how often it happens. Write it down. Tell your doctor. Night sweats may not seem serious on their own, but in the bigger picture, they can be one of the body's first and most honest cries for help. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Sign 3. Unexplained weight loss most noticeable in the morning. Waking up to find your waistband suddenly looser, your pajamas baggier, or your face looking thinner in the mirror can feel like a welcome surprise, especially if you weren't trying to lose weight. But when that change happens without effort, and especially without explanation, it can be a silent signal from your body that something is deeply wrong. Unintentional weight loss, meaning you haven't changed your diet, increased your exercise, or skipped meals, is one of the most commonly overlooked early signs of cancer. And for many older adults, the morning is when it shows up most clearly. That's when the stomach is empty, the face is most reflective. That's when you feel your waistband more honestly, and when you notice just how loose your watch or ring suddenly feels. And yet, because the weight loss doesn't hurt and might even feel like a positive thing, many seniors dismiss it. But here's the truth. Cancers such as those in the pancreas, colon, stomach, or lungs can alter your metabolism, disrupt how your body absorbs nutrients, or create inflammation that burns energy even while you're at rest. The result? Weight loss that seems effortless but isn't harmless. Let me share a story. Henry, age 80, had been eating the same breakfast for years: eggs, toast, and a banana. But his pants started slipping down more easily, and he found himself tightening his belt by 2 notches within a month. He figured it was just part of aging, but his daughter noticed how thin his neck looked during a visit. After some tests, his doctor found early pancreatic cancer, and while the diagnosis was serious, catching it early gave him more treatment options and more time with his family. This kind of weight loss usually starts gradually, 5 pounds, then 10. You may not notice until your clothes tell the truth for you. So if you're seeing your body change in the mirror and you can't explain why, don't assume it's a good thing, especially if you've lost muscle, if your appetite has dropped off slightly without reason, or if your strength feels different even though your routine hasn't changed. Keep track. Weigh yourself weekly. Pay attention to how your clothes fit in the morning. These quiet changes speak loudly if you're willing to listen. Unexplained weight loss doesn't always mean cancer, but it should always mean a conversation with your doctor, because you're not just losing pounds. You may be losing vital time. Sign 4. Blood in saliva or a persistent morning cough. Most people don't think much about what comes up in their mouth when they wake up. A little dryness maybe, a cough, or some phlegm. Nothing unusual. But if you're noticing blood in your saliva, especially first thing in the morning, or a cough that keeps coming back without a clear reason, it's time to take that seriously. This kind of cough is usually dry, low in the chest, and more active when you first wake up. You might think it's allergies, acid reflux, or just clearing your throat. But when it lingers for weeks, especially if it's worse in the morning, it may be something more serious. And if that cough ever brings up blood, even a small amount, that's not something to wait on. Blood-tinged saliva, especially if it's rusty-coloured or pink, is one of those symptoms that should always be brought to your doctor's attention, no matter your age, no matter how you feel otherwise. Several cancers, most notably lung, throat, or even esophageal, can cause irritation, inflammation, or bleeding in areas that drain during sleep. You may not notice it during the day, but lying down for hours gives that fluid time to collect. Then, as soon as you rise, your body starts clearing it out. That's why so many people who experience these symptoms only notice them in the early morning hours and assume they're minor or unrelated. Take the story of Linda, 67. She brushed off her raspy morning cough as allergies, something she'd always dealt with during the spring. But when she started spitting into the sink and noticed a faint pink streak in her saliva, she finally mentioned it to her doctor. A scan revealed a small growth in her right lung. It hadn't spread yet, and she was able to receive treatment early because she didn't ignore that one quiet warning sign. It's easy to dismiss coughing, especially if you've smoked in the past, have postnasal drip, or live in a dry climate. But if it keeps waking you up, sticks around longer than 3 weeks, or brings up anything that looks like blood, get it checked. And if your voice is hoarser in the morning, if you're clearing your throat constantly, or if you feel tightness in your chest that improves slightly as the day goes on, that's all part of the same picture. It may not be cancer, but it may be your chance to catch something early before it has a chance to grow stronger. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 4 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Sign 5. Lumps or swollen lymph nodes felt during morning routines. One of the most overlooked cancer signs isn't loud, painful, or dramatic. It's quiet, subtle, and often found by accident. And for many people, it's discovered in the calm moments of a morning routine. When you wash your face, run your hands over your neck, brush your hair, or put on deodorant, you may occasionally notice a small lump beneath the skin. It might be on the side of your neck, under your jaw, in your armpit, or even near the groin. And if it doesn't hurt, it's easy to ignore. But here's the truth. Swollen lymph nodes, especially the firm, painless kind that don't go away, are one of the most common early signs of cancer, particularly cancers related to the lymphatic system like lymphoma or leukemia, and sometimes even breast, lung, or head and neck cancers. Your lymph nodes act as filters. They trap viruses, bacteria, and abnormal cells. So when something's wrong in the body, they may swell. If it's an infection, the swelling often comes with tenderness and goes down within a week or 2. But cancer-related lymph nodes, they're different. They're firm, fixed in place, and persist over time. Think of a man like Raymond, 72. One morning while shaving, he noticed a small bump under his chin. It didn't hurt, so he forgot about it. But a month later, it was still there and slightly bigger. That's when he told his doctor. After some tests and a biopsy, he was diagnosed with early-stage non-Hodgkin lymphoma. Because he caught it early, his treatment was far more effective and his recovery much smoother. The lesson: don't wait for pain. Cancer often doesn't hurt in the early stages. It whispers. It waits. It shows up as a quiet lump that you find while putting on a shirt or rubbing lotion on your skin. So use your mornings wisely. Be intentional with how you touch your body. If you notice something that wasn't there before, a swelling, a new firmness, a lump that just doesn't sit right, write it down, keep track, and if it stays more than 2 weeks, have it checked. It's not about panicking, it's about paying attention because your hands may find the truth long before pain ever does. And what you do next could change everything. Final thoughts. So let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture. Waking up should be the moment your body resets, refreshed, clear, and ready to take on the day. But sometimes it's in those first few minutes after opening your eyes that the most important signs begin to show. Fatigue that doesn't make sense, sweats that soak your sheets, weight you didn't mean to lose, a cough you've started to expect, or a lump you didn't notice before. None of these signs alone confirm cancer, but when they persist, and especially when they show up without a clear reason, they're worth your attention. They're worth bringing up, and they're absolutely worth having a doctor take a closer look. Because the truth is, cancer doesn't always shout. Sometimes it whispers through the same daily routines you've done for years. And if you learn to listen early, clearly, and without fear, you give yourself the best chance of catching it before it grows into something far more dangerous. You are not powerless. In fact, the more you notice, the more you speak up, and the more you trust that your instincts matter, the stronger you become in protecting your health. Thank you for joining us today at Timeless Wisdom. We'd love to hear from you. Please leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today and how you plan to apply it in your life. Your thoughts matter to us, so feel free to share them. Reading your comments truly motivates and encourages us. If you found this video helpful and enjoyable, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Your support allows us to keep creating valuable content that informs and inspires. Thanks for watching, and we can't wait to see you in the next video.